Welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. I'm Jessica Stutzman. With over 216 acres, 5 miles of trails, and year-round programs, there is always something new to discover at Asbury Woods. Joining us today from this very special organization is Executive Director Jennifer Farrar. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We love having you on the show to talk about everything you guys are doing at the park.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here again. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the success of your Monday music series, Music in the Woods.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is our 4th summer doing that program, and it's really been so much fun because we get, certainly the people that are used to coming to Asbury Woods and have come for years, but it's also driven so many other new people who maybe they're coming because they like that particular band or music group. So they come and they're like, I had no idea. So that's really fun to have those conversations with people week in and week out over this last couple of years. And some of them have turned into volunteers and donors, and they start coming to other programs. So it's been a wonderful way to expose lots of new people to Asbury Woods.
Mm-hmm. And, do people need to bring food and drink, or is it provided on site?
So you certainly can bring your own food and drinks. We typically have a food truck lined up each week. And then we have some local partners. This past year, summer 2022, once again, Lavery Brewing was on site. And so for every pint they sold, they donate back $1 to Asbury Woods. And this year, Pisano Family Cellars and Winery joined us on site as well. So they're doing the same thing, that if you buy your wine on site, they donate back a portion to Asbury Woods. So it really has this great local flavor of local winery, brewery, and the local food trucks, in such a beautiful setting. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
You see all ages. You see families come with little kids because we keep the nature center open for extended hours.
Yeah.
So it's a great event every week.
I love that, and I feel like the weather has been great for you guys.
Yeah.
It's been hot, actually. It's been a hot summer now, but we love that. We love eerie summers.
Yeah, I tease people all the time. I'm like, I don't worry too much about the weather because we do so many outdoor programs like every single day. So we just try and roll with it.
Yes. Okay, so you do have some awesome programs coming up. One of the things is called the Through Your Eyes art exhibit at Brown's Farm. Let's tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, so this summer, people may remember that the last couple summers we have been doing some kind of exhibition in Brown's Farm Barn. And this summer, we circled around to a photography exhibit where we invited members of the community to submit their photos that were taken on the Asbury Woods property. So we just got an incredible selection, people walking their dogs, plants, flowers, bugs, people biking, people hiking, just an incredible array of people's views of how they view Asbury Woods through their eyes. And then we had it narrowed down, and we had some local photography club members come in and help us jury the exhibition. So that's what's up currently through the middle of August. And it's just been a fun way to get the community to sort of share their view of Asbury Woods. And then people have been adding their own comments. We have a little comment board where people can leave a note about what their favorite thing about Asbury Woods when they visit the exhibit.
What's one thing that either really impressed you or really surprised you about the photograph submissions or the comments?
Well, we got a lot of the ones you'd expect, right? Pictures of the bridge. You certainly expect that. Sort of an iconic part of Asbury Woods. Lots of pictures of the grandfather tree, grandmother tree, those kinds of things that we all sort of imagine and think of as destinations when you're on the trail. So we got a lot of that. But we just got some really wonderful, whimsical ones of people and kids, catching their kids enjoying on the trails or trumping along ahead of them. So that was really fun to see the variety of things. Some of the comments, it was cute. I took a group of our summer campers up to see the exhibit and said, well, you can write on here what you love about Asbury Woods, and a couple of them were writing like their favorite animal to see in the exhibit hall. I love the ferret, or things like that. So it's cute to see everyone's different perspective of how they think of Asbury Woods.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. And I love the community engagement. It's so nice to be able to pull people back together after the pandemic here and do fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
And it's fun. It was fun, you know, some of the photos, people were like, oh, this is a photo I took years ago. And then other people went out and specifically took photos knowing we were doing the exhibit to show, you know, they're like, and we had our opening and one woman was there and she's like, well, my friend put, you know, my friend took the picture, but I'm in the picture. We were on a hike together. I'm in that picture. So yeah, it's been really, really a fun project this summer.
Yeah, and we hold a photography showcase submission for the Millcreek Township annual calendar. And the one thing I say every year from that calendar is I am so impressed with our amateur and professional photographers, because we do put both in, and people are so talented. I just can't get over it sometimes.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it was fun to see. And people who are like donors or volunteers or, you know, live nearby in the neighborhood and stop by, they're like, oh, I submitted pictures. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay, the other thing that is new coming up, some new programming. There's a mushroom hike, there's a photography hike. What other stuff is going on? Yeah,
so we did a whole series this summer of sort of through your eyes hikes to kind of go along with the photography exhibit. So we brought in some experts, topic experts on various things that you might see or do at Asbury Woods. So yeah, we had 2 mushroom experts sort of through their eyes as an expert on mushrooms and led some hikes. We had some, you know, amateur photographers locally and some professional photographers locally lead some hikes. And there was just a whole series of topics like that. I think one was also about observing the night sky in the summer, you know, sort of. So we've just been sort of playing off that through your eyes theme. And, you know, we're surrounded by wonderfully creative and smart and talented people. So it's been fun to feature different experts all summer long.
Awesome. And so are those going to continue through the fall, or are new programs going to start up?
New programs will start up in the fall. The exhibit closes in mid-August, and so the fall we'll have, you know, I'm sure some of our usual favorites, and then of course our education staff is always creative, coming up with new things to offer to the public as well.
Awesome. One new thing that you guys have got to be so excited about, it definitely focuses on your mission, is the Children's Water Festival. What is the Children's Water Festival? How can people sign up? And why is it at Asbury Woods?
Yeah, so the Children's Water Festival has been going on in the Erie area for a number of years, and it used to be hosted at Penn State Barron, and there was really a great local committee who helped make it happen, and a lot of local topic experts who contributed their time, and they were looking for a new home for it and approached Asbury Woods. This was right in the middle of the pandemic, and just thought it would make sense, since we already do so many things for school-age kids that are around the topic of watersheds. So it was a great fit for our mission, played well into programming we already do. So it's offered it's on October this year to 5th graders across Erie County. So it's already, kids are signed up and coming. The teachers were excited to see that it was back after missing 2 years during the pandemic. So we're really excited. It's so on point for our mission of environmental education to be able to be the host for Children's Water Festival. And we're lucky many of those same volunteers that have been involved and initiated locally have continued to, they've carried on their service with the project at Asbury Woods. So it's exciting, and we're looking forward to having it at Asbury Woods for the first time.
That's incredible. I cannot wait to hear all about it, the pictures, the turnout, you know, the feedback. I think the takeaway lesson is that we're all downstream, you know, so whatever you do upstream in the watershed affects somebody else downstream in the watershed.
Yeah, and we, you know, and it's a fun one because we try and make it, it's designed to be an educational day, but also fun. They do it with fun activities that kids can really relate to and see how they can have a personal impact and make a personal difference with their personal choices. You know, and hopefully take some of that back to their family and say, guess what I learned today about, you know, taking care of our watershed or smart use of water. So it's a real hands-on kind of day. And of course, bringing it to Asbury Woods, you know, we're sort of set up for that and have beautiful on-property wetlands and things that we can do some of these activities with the kids.
Do you think that, again, having Asbury Woods as the host site this year, that it won't just be, classroom education? The kids will be out, in the streams and maybe, sampling the water or, looking for macroinvertebrates or things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our approach with all of our programming is to ask ourselves the question, how much of this can we do outside? How much of this can we do in the outdoors and on site rather than in the classroom? So that's always our first approach of making sure that we get them outside to do it. So yeah, they'll be over in, at this wetland and this wetland and in this backyard and rotating through a bunch of interactive stations throughout the day.
That's super cool. And what I love about that age group is that they are going to go back to their parents and say, this is what I learned and this is what we need to start doing at home.
Yes, yeah, they're old enough to soak it in at that 5th grade level. And so I think it's 5 days in a row, 100 kids a day, 5 days in a row. So yeah, it'll be an exciting week for us.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And then another exciting thing happening again for I think it'll be the 3rd year in a row, is our compost workshops. Millcreek Township has partnered with Asbury Woods for our compost workshops, which we're so excited. We love the turnout. We love giving away the compost bin at the end, the Compost Wizard Junior, and we're so excited to partner.
Yeah, it's great. Again, it's, when we look at all the programs we could do, it's so on point mission-wise and such a great partnership. We always talk about, like, some of our favorite programs are when we can make, partnerships like this that really serve your mission and our mission and make a great program out of it. And certainly in my couple years of coming here and hearing about it, it's converted me, I have my compost bins in the backyard now.
Yes.
So yeah, we're excited to continue with that, and it's one that always is popular and sells out. I think people know to look for it at this point, and it's great that we have so many people thinking that way, and hopefully continuing to feed them into the township's food recycling program that you're doing too now.
Yeah, so we have 2 food recycling programs now. One, you can just drop off your food waste and have it done, or you can take a more hands-on approach and do the backyard compost workshop with Millcreek and Asbury Woods. But what I would love to see, my goal, is every household in Millcreek Township is handling their food waste by not throwing it into a landfill. So you're gonna manage it through one of these 2 avenues, and we're gonna keep all of that out of the landfill. And then also we're gonna replenish our soils with all this really rich compost so that we can regrow our gardens, and they're gonna be nutrient rich and really healthy and make us really healthy human beings. So that is my goal.
It's a great vision, and I'm glad we can be a part of it.
Yes, oh, that's so great. But yes, those do sell out very quickly. Our next compost workshop, we do allow 50 families to come in and participate in the workshop. It's really quick. It's like, about 2 hours. We try to get you in and out, but we like to teach you, give you that compost workshop or the compost bin, and then send you out on your own to give it a go. And if you have any trouble at all, give us a call, ask for help. We will help you troubleshoot. We've been doing it for over 10 years now, so we've seen it all. And yeah, it's fantastic, but it does sell out. And so you would register on the Asbury Woods website.
Right.
So,
yes.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, looking forward to it again.
Yes, me too.
I need to do it in person. I think I did it during the pandemic and watched you and one of our education team members the video of it. But
yeah. And I think that's the exciting thing about Asbury Woods. Everything is so hands-on. It makes you excited to do it. And I think, with any new behavior that you're starting or any new project that you're tackling or interest, something that's engaging you, having that excitement and other people who are surrounding you that are also excited to do it, I think it just makes that ball roll a little faster, and there's just like a buzz and an energy being at Asbury Woods and feeling immersed in the natural setting. So.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm with people who are like-minded and also want to make a difference, which is kind of a neat experience.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And something that you guys are also working on, just to move along here, is the Summer Camp Endowment Fund. What is that?
Yeah, so we had through the past couple of summers, we were able to get some funds for scholarships to fund some kids who couldn't otherwise afford to come to summer camp. So the first summer we did it was that first pandemic summer, summer 2020, when we knew that a lot of families' finances were strained, and we had some money available us through the Erie Community Foundation to do that. Last summer we self-funded it out of our own budget. And this year, we'd like to make it something perpetual that we can do every single year, because we've seen the difference that it makes, and getting these kids to camp and hearing the feedback from their families of what a difference it made for them. So we have a goal of $15,000 that we will endow, so that we will use a portion of those earnings from that endowment, from that investment fund every year to fund, hopefully our goal is to be able to fund 5 to 10 scholarships every summer. So it's really a long-term investment and a long-term strategy for us, so that each summer we're able to offer that camp experience to a kid who might not be able to do it otherwise. So yeah, we are, I think we're at about just over half our goal, at about $8,000 or $9,000 now, towards the $15,000 goal that will help us sort of start generating that revenue each year.
And how can people donate to Asbury Woods and participate in the endowment fund?
Yeah, so I mean, you can do it through our website, of course, or you can always just call and ask the question if you want a little bit more information on what that program looks like, or you want to hear a little bit more about some of the impact stories that we've heard of what difference that does make. I love it when people just pick up the phone and ask.
And can you just share one success story?
Yeah, so we had 2 summers ago, we were contacted, we put out there that some scholarship funds were available, and we were contacted by the Northwest PA Intermediate Unit, and they had traditionally done some programming for children of migrant workers, so they were not necessarily here year-round. Their families sort of moved seasonally, but they did special programming for these kids. And they said, because of the pandemic and this and that, we're not able to do the programming that we normally do for these children, where their parents are traditionally working 12 or 14 hours days, and so we would supplement some educational programming and social programming for them. Do you guys have scholarships available to get these kids to camp? And we did, and so we were able to fund 5 scholarships for kids identified through this migrant program. We rented a car to pick up the kids every day to make it happen. Our staff took turns. And that little seed of saying, okay, we're going to make this commitment to these scholarships and solving the transportation problem, that little seed of a program has turned into now a 3-year partnership with the migrant education program of the intermediate unit, where we're doing some after-school clubs with them. They've been doing family days where the kids can bring their families to Asbury Woods, and we do some programming so that the families can see, hey, Mom, Dad, this is where I went to summer camp, or this is where I come for my after-school program. So that just really showed us how these scholarships can have this long-term impact way beyond just that week of camp that the kids come to.
Oh, that's such an incredible story. And I'm so glad this is continuing. You're making it work every single year to help kids who, like I said, the pandemic was challenging, and now we're, in tough times where the cost of everything has gone up. And so, I think every kid should have that wonderful camp nature experience. So that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's exciting, and we're really excited that there are many generous donors out there who have gotten us this far towards that goal, and I have every confidence that we'll reach that $15,000 mark soon and be able to keep this summer camp endowment going.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful news. And then I also want to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about is the master plan for the woods. So what does the future look like?
Well, we're working on the plan for the future right now. So with the property acquisition that we did in April of 2021, and then the additional 40 acres that we're in the process of acquiring that are currently owned by Mercyhurst University, we thought it was really the right time to take a step back and say, we need to do a master plan for all the property, all the buildings that encompass Asbury Woods. So we actually kicked it off just this past May. We expect it to be close to a year-long process. That kind of gets us through all the seasons of Asbury Woods. It includes, you know, people who are master site planners for recreation areas and park areas. It includes some consultants from the Western PA Conservancy that are doing inventories, ecologists who are doing inventories of all the plant species on the property. And we hope it'll help us say, okay, over the next 5 to 10 years, what is the right way to use the various parcels and parts of our property? What are the right areas where it's okay to maybe have buildings or trails go through? What are the areas maybe they do identify a rarer species or a threatened species, and so then we have good information to say, okay, that's an area we want to avoid with programming or trails. So it really helps build sort of our roadmap for the next, you know, 5, 10, 15 years of how we're going to use all these parts of our property. So it's a pretty in-depth process. We have a special committee of some board members and some other stakeholders that are working with us and the consultants through this process over the next year.
Okay, great. And when do you think that will be finalized? Will be up on your website?
We're not even close to that step yet, but yes, I can imagine. I'm guessing will probably be sometime this time next year, you know, sometime in spring to summer 2023, where we get through all of that and it's able to be presented to our board and stakeholders. So yeah, we're still a ways away from that, but yeah, certainly something that we're going to celebrate and talk about and make public when we get to that point.
So you just mentioned your board members, who are an incredibly helpful, supportive group of people. But I also want to talk about your volunteers, which I know you love and need so much. Yeah. So, you know, do you need volunteers? What jobs are they doing? How can people reach out to you and really help Asbury Woods in your mission?
Yeah, so we are always recruiting volunteers. We are always open to having conversations about how people can help us out with their particular talents and interests. You know, any given year we have over 400 volunteers who help, you know, and some of those are people who come just one afternoon with a corporate group and they do a certain project. You know, they come and they weed a specific garden. Others are people who come every single week, you know, some sporadically, and we can work with all of those things. We actually have a volunteer coordinator who you can call and talk to her, or you can even just go on our website. We have a volunteer management program called Volunteer Matrix, and you can even just pop on and see what kind of volunteer opportunities are currently posted. So, you know, for example, during the summer, we love people who like to come out and weed because we have lots of gardens to take care of. We have people who come and help with summer camp. You know, that's adults or teens that come and help with summer camp, people who work in our gift shop, and then again, some people who come and do specific projects. You know, we want to maybe stain all of the picnic tables, and so we get a group out of people and we get it all done in an afternoon, or early in the season when we need to do a bunch of mulching, and so a group will come and they'll say, okay, we're just going to mulch for the day. So it's a wonderful resource for us. And you know, we have 14 staff members and 400 volunteers any year. Like, we could not do what we do. We couldn't maintain the grounds the way we do. We couldn't do the level of programming without that volunteer support. So our volunteer coordinator, she always likes to say, she said, you know, just when I'm thinking that, like, we really could use somebody to help us with this, she's like, sometimes it just, they magically appear. They call me and say, I was thinking I could help. And she's like, that's exactly what I need. So yeah, we love those calls when people just say, this has been on my mind. How do I get involved?
Mm-hmm. And I have this special talent, and I think that, you know, Asbury Woods could benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Oh, that's great, Jennifer. Well, is there any, we only have a couple minutes left, is there anything that you want to leave our viewers with, or any upcoming event that we should really plan on attending?
Well, you know, we talked about some of the new things, Children's Water Festival, and one thing we didn't talk about that has been really exciting for us this summer is our Nature in Your Neighborhood program. So, of course, Asbury Woods is like a destination that people come to, but part of our strategic plan that our board adopted about 1.5 years ago was thinking about how we can ensure our message of environmental education and nature appreciation reaches as many people as possible. And one strategy that we came up with is taking our programming to people instead of expecting them to always come to us. There may be transportation challenges, or they may just not know exist. So this summer, every Thursday, we've been going to a series of public parks in the city of Erie. And, you know, we take our table and our tent and our education staff and our programming, and we set up shop for an hour. And so that has been just a ton of fun to take our programming to people and, you know, try and share a little bit of the joy of what we love about nature and the environment, and spark their minds hopefully on some science and STEM things. So that's been sort of the other thing that we have going on, that we're really excited and hope that we can continue that for years to come during the summer, and take our programming to people.
That's a neat idea. That's really, really innovative and fun and engaging with the community.
Yeah, and it's great. We had Hooked on Books, is another local nonprofit, reached out to us to partner. And so they're actually providing books each Thursday when the kids come, and if engaging with our program at Nature in Your Neighborhood, then they're walking away with a book from Hooked on Books that is a nature-related book. So it gives them a little piece of a reminder of the programming to take home.
Oh, good. A takeaway message,
yes.
too. Those are my favorite. Well, Jennifer, I wanted to thank you so much for being on the show here with me today and sharing all of the good things that you are doing, again, for, you know, Asbury Woods, Millcreek Township, for Erie County. I want to thank you guys, you and your staff and your volunteers, for everything that you guys do for us.
Oh, thank you. It's our honor to do it. We love it. So thanks for having me.
Of course. Viewers, we have learned so much about the fun and engaging and you know, scientific programming that Asbury Woods has going on, and I encourage you to be inquisitive and be curious about your environment, and Asbury Woods is here to help with that. So I want to thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel, and until next time, have a great day.